Hey everybody, it's Joel from Talkin' Toys, and as promised, after my Demona review, we are going to do Gargoyles Hudson from the Ultimate Action Figure line through NECA. So this is my giving NECA a second chance on the Gargoyle line here. So getting everything set up here. You see we've got Hudson out already. But before we do anything like all toy reviews, let's go ahead and take a look at the box. So the nice thing about the boxes is that we're always graced with a really nice front cover art. It may not always depict how you can pose the figure, but at least it's a nice representation of the character that you're going to get inside this particular box. So we have Hudson here in the snow up on the castle, Disney Gargoyles logo, Hudson, and Ultimate Action Figure. At the bottom here, of course, like with all of them, you can open them up and you get a product shot of Hudson. And then where he would be with the trays, we have just the insert, which is just a cityscape in red. On the side here, we've got another product shot of Hudson. This is with his growling gargoyle face. When we turn to the back here, we have more product shots of Hudson. If you want to read his bio, go ahead and pause now, and you should be able to read it. And then, of course, we go to the other side, more product shot for Hudson holding his sword. The other head, the one that actually comes stock on the figure when you open it up. And then nothing else other than gargoyles and Hudson on the top. Mostly it's just like who sculpted, who did the paint work, photography, things like that. So credits, so rolling credits. In fact, that's the first time I even paid attention to that. So that said, that's the box. Let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. We do have Hudson out here. I have not messed around with him too much, but we do have him. I don't have my stand today. He does come with the second head. We'll get a closer look at that here real quick. So he's got the snarling gargoyle head there. And got the silver beard. It's kind of like a silver gray paint app, which actually is really nice considering he's like the oldest out of all of them. So they do represent his age. He does have the scar across the eye here, but both eyes are whited out. Normally this eye would, I think, be yellow because of the battle damage that he sustained in his younger days. We do have two wings. The things that I like about it, actually, the thing I like about this one the most, just looking at it, is unlike Demona's, you have veins worked out in his wings. And Demona didn't have those, if I recall correctly, because I just saw kind of this leathery scale type design. Of course, he does have the peg. I fully expect him to have the same problems with the wings. So I'm going to get that out of the way now. He does have some paint app, some dry brushing on the back of the wings here. It gives it more of that leathery look. And of course, he has holes and tears in his wings. And mostly either due to battle or I would say old age for him. And we do have his tail, and we'll go ahead and put that on in a second. We have the other wing here. We do have a sword that comes with him, and we do have some really nice detail work sculpting in the handle there. I think they were kind of going for like a Scottish Highland or Celtic design in the blade there, but I don't know. I can't say for sure because I cannot remember how it looked in the show. It's just been too long. We have some nicks in the blade. Because he's a war-torn veteran, I would say. I want to feel like there's some dry brushing. There's a little bit. So you can kind of see some dark here, some black, to try to get that detail put out. But we're not seeing a lot of dry brushing, at least on this one, other than here, to try to get in the cracks, to give it some weathered age. I think it would have helped to have some dry brush along the cross guard. I was going to say pommel, but we do have some leather paint, a little glossy. I think it could have done better with more of a muted brown paint, something a little bit more matte. But if you can see on this as well, I don't think it's going to show up as well as I want it to. There's some black dry brushed into it to kind of give the leather wrapping some detail. And then of course we have the pommel, and the pommel does have, again, just the ever so slightest touch of a dry brushing. Not a lot though. He is going to come with several hand accessories. So for his left hand, we have kind of a claw, almost like a gripping hand, and then we have an open hand with the claws actually extended. Nope, that's all it. Other than the fist that he comes with, that's the hands he comes with for his left side. For his right side, we do have a sword gripping hand. Good tight fit with the sword. We have another claw hand, and then we have probably another sword hand, to be honest with you. See, this kind of actually fits a little bit better. I think it's giving us a little bit more of a diagonal for thrust and parry. And then of course we've got the old man himself, which, little fun fact, he's the only gargoyle that speaks with a Scottish accent.
Behave yourself, boy.
Everyone else doesn't. So old enough to speak with a Scottish accent, old enough to fight, and he looks every bit of it. We have some sculpt and design into the face here. I'm trying to get a good way of looking at it. This eye has a yellow paint app over the entirety of it, and I can't really get it focused very well for you to see it. This eye actually is white, and it has a brown paint app for the iris. When we look at his nose, it's scrunched in, flat to the face, thick eyebrows with horns or scales along the side there. We do have the scar on his face. Mouth is closed, but a couple of teeth hanging out at the bottom. Same silver and gray paint with the hair. So they kept that the same. And then of course you have some darker gray in there to give the hair a little bit more texture and feel, which is always much appreciated by me when it comes to things like this. We come down to the pauldrons, and there is some battle damage, some scraping. There is an attempt at dry brushing again, but some of that just looks bad. So I'm not too keen on some of this. It just looks like it was a quick run, or they just picked the wrong color and just said, screw it, let's go with it. He has the silver apps, silver paint on the buttons there on his pauldrons. The pauldrons themselves look like they have a kind of a leather cover to them, and then it looks like they're supposed to be metal underneath. When we look at the articulation for the arm, you're going to go about that high on the shoulders, and then you're going to go about, you can do a full 360. Oh.
What the hell was that?
You're not supposed to do a full 360. This was actually glued on. So I just buggered that one. Hey, you know what? These things happen. Sometimes you get a little excited trying to figure out, did they do something? So guess who gets to glue that on after the review? You do have a bicep swivel. You got some paint into the muscle structure there. We do have a double, there we go. We do have a double jointed elbow. We do have a wrist spin. And then of course each wrist is going to have its own point of articulation for bending there. Probably for the remainder of this, since I broke the damn thing off, I'm going to just leave it off. But it'll give us a look at the back here. We do have some leather straps coming back that goes into the armor. And then we have some paint, brass paint for the buckles, or gold paint for the buckles there. You can see the ports for his wings. Each wrist is covered in a bracer, and each bracer has a little bit of dry brushing, and then the silver paint for the little metal pieces along the side there. Each hand does have some paint for the nails to kind of give them some depth and change, just to change up the things. The shirt he's wearing, actually it's not really so much a shirt, it looks like it's actually leather if we follow it around. So this is kind of a leather top to him, and then you follow it around and it all buckles in. He does have a little bit of a chest articulation. You can get a little bit of side to side there. He does have a belly articulation or waist articulation there, so you can get some side to side there. So you can kind of, you know, crank him, just wind him up for a good solid socket to you. He does have a loincloth, which looks like it's just straight cloth, and pants. So he has the pants, and then you have the stitching on the side, and then the paint apps. So kind of a tan, and then you get some dark brown or some darker tan along the side there to really highlight the wrinkles. And then you have cloth around the ankles here, and leather straps to tie that off. He does have a knee articulation, so you can see the knee is there. He does have a forward movement on the hip, but it doesn't go straight forward. It kind of bends out forward, and he does go back a little bit. He can do the splits to about yay far. And we do have ankle articulation here, so we can go back and forth. And we do have toe, a toe bend, and we do have, like even on the ankles here, you have the tilt, and then the toe has a tilt too, if I can get it to show up a little bit. And then of course on the bottom of the feet you have pegs. So when you have a stand, you can actually stand them up probably a little bit better. But I'm doing this all live. I've just taken everything out of the box. Or not live, but you know what I mean. I haven't had time to kind of play with everything. We take his sword here, and it sits in his belt. Get that up here a little bit. So it actually fits rather nice. I don't think that it messes with the actual articulation for the stomach or the chest. So that's nice. It'd be kind of cool. Actually, I think you can. It's just set it up where it looks like he's going to be on the draw for the sword. So not too bad. That might be a pose that I explore when I do my photo shoot with this guy. And then of course we come around to the back. You have the hole here, and then we have a spot for his tail. His tail is the same kind of plastic, soft plastic, and we're going to go ahead and just poke that right in his bum. And no, I did not buy him dinner or take him to the movies first. Okay, so my camera died, and I was in the I was starting to figure out some posing options, and then I fell upon this little issue that I found while looking to take off his head. This is the head that he comes with on stock, and it's like it wasn't even really glued on. I went to go pop it off, and then all of a sudden this just came off. Now I was going to take responsibility for the shoulder because I thought maybe I did that, but now I've got like a peg here where it's really not glued in or sealed or faceted in any way, that I wonder if I just stumbled upon the pauldron. So I'll be honest, I'm a little pissed off right now over at the QC control with NECA at the moment. While I like that Demona figure, there was enough wrong with it that I didn't love it. And while I really want to love this Hudson figure, these two things that have just happened have really put this figure line in a sour mood for me. But I'm going to try to finish this up real quick, and we'll just get the final bit of the review done here. I am surprised that I was able to get him to stand with his wings on, and they just clip in, and you know, they've got the one articulation there. You can turn them up and down as well, though I don't really think they're meant to go up too high. They're just meant to be right there. All things considering with this figure, because I'm going to go ahead and close it before something else breaks. I'm going to give this a review, a score out of 10. It's a 5 for me, and real questionable. Do I want to do any other gargoyle figures at this point? As a result, that being said, thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your day to spend it with me while I talk about toys. If you guys like this video, or if you enjoyed the video, give us a like. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. We could really use it. We are trying to hit 100 subscribers before the end of 2022 and start with 101 in 2023.